Alrighty, class. Today we're going to start a new unit, Statistics and Probability. And the lesson I'm going to go over today is simple probability. This is going to be a primer for you to get you to get you comfortable with dealing with probability. First thing we're going to go through, you got a lot of new vocabulary to learn. Okay, um, terms that you're going to want to remember are probability, outcome, experiment or trial, and sample space. Okay, probability. Um, what is probability? Let's say you're planning a picnic. The first thing you ought to do is check the weather. Um, because if there's an 80% chance that it's going to rain, you probably want to pick a different day. If there's only a 5% chance that it's going to rain, then yeah, you can plan your picnic. Okay? Basically, probability is the likelihood that something will happen. Okay. Something with a high probability is very likely to happen. Something with a low probability probably won't. The highest probability there is one. If you got a one, which would be 100% likely probability, that means that it is absolutely going to happen. The lowest probability is zero. If you have a zero probability of something happening, it ain't gonna happen. Okay. Next, outcome. What is an outcome? An outcome is a possible result of an experiment or trial. Um, let's say you flip a coin. Okay, there are two possible results. Result number one, it's going to be heads. Result number two, it's going to be tails. Okay, so whatever could possibly happen as a result of an experiment, that is a possible outcome. Okay. Um, our next new term is experiment or trial. An experiment or trial is any procedure that can be infinitely repeated and has a well-designed set of possible outcomes. Um, in this instance, let's look at flipping a coin. Every time you flip that coin, it's an experiment. It's a trial. You don't know what's going to happen. You are investigating to find out what outcome will occur. There are only two possibilities. It will be heads or it will be head or tails. And every time you flip the coin, you're going to get one or the other. And sample space. A sample space is the set of possible outcomes. In terms of flipping a coin, the set of possible outcomes is two. Basically, it can be heads, it can be tails. But let's say you decide to roll a dice. The dice has six sides. So every time you roll the dice, you're going to get one of six possible outcomes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Um, a basically an outcome that you will never get. It will never be when you roll the dice. It will never be a 3 and a 2. It will also never be a 7 or a 0. 1 through 6 is the total sum of possible outcomes that can come from rolling a dice. Now, probability equals the number of outcomes that meet a specific condition, that meet specific conditions, divided by the total number of possible outcomes. Here's an example. What is the likelihood that a person can pull the ace of spades out of a deck of cards on the first try? Well, the first thing we need to know is what is our sample space? How many cards are there in a deck of cards? And then additionally, we need to know how many cards meet the conditions that we set. The total number of cards in a deck of cards is 52. And the total number of cards that meet our specific condition is 1, the ace of spades. Okay. Now, based on our probability equation, if we divide the number of outcomes that meet our specific condition, that is 1 card, the ace of spades, by the total number of possible outcomes, or 52, then the probability is 1 over 52. Easy.